Bare Naked Ladies. Steve, can't tell you how pleased I am to hear that you got Chris Norman on the programme, as everyone in this country seems to have forgotten him. I loved him in Smokey, and I've liked him ever since. Got all his albums, which I managed to get through a well-known internet site, as they come from Germany. Thanks again for remembering him. Love, Joan. Lovers and friends, that's Chris Norman, and Chris is here, former lead singer of Smokey. It's a return visit to our show, and every time Chris comes in we always have a little chat about Germany. We've had that now, so we've done the personal chat about some of the artists I like to see on German television.
Well, we should explain why we've mentioned Germany, because you're big in Germany.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot in Germany for many, many years, because when I left Smokey, the first solo hit I had was in Germany, and I had a big #1 single there, and then it kind of spread through Europe, but never got back as far as the UK really. So I've had a big career all over that Northern Europe area, and I spent a lot of time there.
Oh, what about the band? Where are they? How did it end? Did it end well?
I left in the mid-80s to do a solo thing.
Right.
Pete, the drummer, had left too. Pete Spencer, he left at the same time, more or less. Two of them carried on and went on and carried on. Then the guitar player left. So now there is a Smokey that goes around and plays all over the place, and they put out records and stuff with just the bass player, Terry Utley's still in them. But the other guys are all doing their own thing and doing a bit of gigging here and there.
You've got a very distinctive voice, and a really nice voice, melodious, and can do lots of things. When did you know? That was a compliment for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. When did you know you had that?
Well, I could always sing when I was a little kid. I was in the choir when I was a tiny little kid, and when I got about 11, I thought, I'm not doing that, that's a bit soft, But I did do that. I was a soloist in the choir. And my parents were in show business, so I can't remember ever not being able to do harmonies. And,
like that?
Yeah, from being like 5 or even earlier than that. I can remember somebody singing and I'd do the harmony, So it's just something I was born with, I guess, because of my parents.
Who was Jean-Claude, by the way? He was a student at the university,
He was, I don't know. What was his girlfriend called again?
I can't remember.
Louise Marie.
Oh yeah, Louise Marie.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think they lived happily ever after.
Did he have a nice wing collar shirt and smoke Galois?
Yeah, I think he did, yes.
How did you get good at writing songs then? Because that's a different talent, isn't it, to singing, really? And how did you find you could do that?
I think songwriting is you just sit down and you have a go. I mean, that's how I started, because when we were with Smokey in the beginning, the first album, we were told, you got to come up with some songs. So we just sat down and tried. You just kind of plucking it out there and hoping something comes. And then working with Mike Chapman, for instance, who's very underrated because of the fact he came out with the bubblegum pop stuff and all that, but he's actually a very talented guy. I learned loads from him about writing songs, about producing records and everything. So I guess it's just influences over the years.
Did you and do you write to a formula? Because there's some great songs on this new album, by the way.
Thank you.
The single, by the way, is called Lovers and Friends, which you heard just now. What do you do? Do you think, who's listening to this, I'm writing it to perform it, I'm writing it as an album track?
A bit of all that, really, because when I'm doing an album, I'll think, well, we could do something that's going to work live. So I'll try and think of something that's going to work live. And I'm also thinking about what might be popular commercially. But if you sit and try too hard to do that, it doesn't come. So mainly what you do is over a period of time before the album, maybe a few months or a year or whatever, you're just putting little ideas down on your tape recorder or nowadays your iPhone or whatever. And then you go back and think, that'd be a good one. With me, I don't try and think of it, is it fashionable or is it not, So then you get people saying, well, it still sounds a bit like the 70s sometimes. And then you'd say, oh, that doesn't. Well, it's because I just write whatever comes out, and that's the way it goes.
Well, I was going to ask you that, and this is probably the most unusual question you've ever been asked. Do you try and sound like you?
Do I?
You probably can't not sound like you.
No, it's really a good question, because there was a period in the 80s where I didn't. I deliberately tried not to sound like me because I felt like it was old hat, and I better try and sound like something else, And then I made a few rotten records that sounded nothing like what I should be doing. So now I just do what I do, and it's whatever it is. Funny enough as well, when I first started singing in studios, when I was doing vocals, I used to try and do an impression of somebody, just because I didn't know what I was supposed to sound like. So I do like an impression of Paul McCartney or John Lennon or whoever it was, Joe Cocker. Until I found out what I was supposed to sound like.
The reason I asked that ridiculous question is that this album sounds like you. But it doesn't sound like 70s. It sounds like you now.
That's great. great. And the thing with this album, I took my own band, my touring band in, and we just played, and we recorded it pretty much like you hear it. None of this, well, we'll do this first and then we'll put this on. We did it in the studio together, and, and it was great fun. There's nothing better than playing with a bunch of guys and coming out with something that sounds nice.
Yeah. Are you amazed that you're still doing it? I mean, did you expect to be doing it? Don't be offended, because I've asked Rod Stewart the same.
No, I am, to be honest, I didn't expect to be doing this when I was this age. There's an interview with me when I'm like 28, which people keep bringing up in Germany because it was on in Germany. I'm saying, obviously, I can't be singing when I'm 50. You know?
Well, you're not there yet.
No, obviously. Not by a long way. But you just don't know. So.
Okay, well, the new album is called There and Back. It's released on the 16th of September. I'm going to play, you can hear under my voice now, Nobody's Fool, which is kind of got this, you can hear that eerie kind of intro. And after we've played that, give us another track, Chris, that is kind of a little bit different from that.
Well, a good one to play would be I'm Gone.
Okay, we'll do I'm Gone, and Chris Norman's brand new album, There and Back, is released, as I say, on the 16th of September, and very good to see you, and we'll see you next time. We'll talk some more about our favourite singer, Hino. Chris Norman, everybody.
Thank you.
Great voice. Nice man. And there goes Chris Norman.
From BBC Radio 6 Music.
Here we go, a day in the life of me, Gideon Coe. I wake up at 7 o'clock sharp, listen to 6 Music, then a bit of the Today programme.